One out deep here into this bottom of the first. No score as C.J. Richard on 3 pitches rounds out to second for the first out. It's C.J. Richard, Toby Huber, and Nate Early, the top 3 here in this Moeller Arsenal against lefty Aaron England. Toby Huber checks in. Here's the first pitch to him. Swing and a miss. Toby is a .313 hitter this year. England deals. The fastball rides a bit inside. Spinning out of the way is Huber. We even up. Aaron England is 6'1", 195 pounds, just a sophomore, making his 12th appearance, his 9th start. He's completed 2 games. He's got 2 shutouts. And here's the 1-1. He got a piece of it, and it's a ground ball to first. Connor Rocky will take it to the bag himself for the out.
Well, if I had to guess on it, I'd say Huber was trying to check that swing and just kind of fouled it off out of accident. There's 2 down in the inning, so England gets lucky on that.
Aaron has pitched 47 innings, has given up 20 hits, 11 runs, 10 earned, 21 walks, 80 strikeouts. He's 4-2 with a save. He's got a 1.49 earned run average, and his whip is .872. Neither starting pitcher likes giving up base runners. Nate Early, lefty versus lefty, and a called strike. So says Roger Dix at home plate. It's 0-1.
Well, they really don't like to allow base runners, but what's interesting is both pitchers allow about the same amount of walks as they do hits. So the hits might be a little low, but the walks are high.
Skied foul and out towards the third base dugout, out of play. And just like that, Aaron England's ahead, 0-2. Nate Early is a .400 batter this year. He's getting on base darn near 60% of the time. .594 is his on base percentage.
That's incredible at any level, especially in high school. I mean, he has reached safely in all but 4 of the games he's played this season.
Strike 2 offering, got him looking, inning over. So Aaron England works through the first on 9 pitches. Into the second we go. No score here in Amelia on Chatterbox Live. To the second inning we go. No score here in Amelia. Along with Nathaniel Hipsley, I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Live. It took 19 pitches for Max Tramontana to get through the first inning. We'll see if he has a little bit more of an economy as he faces 5, 6, and 7 here in this Fairfield Arsenal.
Well, and Tramontana, walked 2 different batters in that first inning, but it really didn't matter because the defense stepped up for him. I mean, you look at Manley from the catcher's position, whipped it down over to first base, made a fantastic play to get 1 base runner out, and the next thing you know, play a little bit of defense, and you get yourself out of a potential jam.
Kemper Murray checks in, right-hand batter, shows bunt, pushes it down the first baseline, foul, strike 1. It's Murray, followed by Reese Wayhoff and Josh Isaacs. Murray's a .358 hitter this year. He's getting on base just under 50% of the time. .493 is his on-base percentage this year. So a good start here in Amelia today. We're hoping to get, 6 more or more like it?
Certainly hoping.
Wide open stance for Murray. And Tramontana deals. Back to the box. Niehaus gloves it right at second base. He'll throw on to first for the first out of the second.
The catcher, number 8, Reese Wayhoff.
That ball was on the ground, but I'll be interested to see, as the wind's picking up a little bit here at Midland, how that affects balls into the outfield.
Curveball, nice yacker for the first strike. Fastball rides high, this time 1-1. Reese Wayhoff at the plate. .297 hitter, has driven in 3 on the year. And here's the 1-1. He swings through, about a foot late on that one, and it's 1-2. And right now, Tramontana is finding the second inning a little bit more easy to manage here than the first. Here's the 1-2, the fastball. I don't want to say he wasted one. I think he was trying to put him away with that, but it rides outside, and we do it again.
Yeah, I think you can tell the biggest reason Tramontana's settled down is he's not taking a lot of time in between his pitches. He's just about ready to go.
Curve, got him. That's the first strikeout of the day for Max Tramontana. 2 away, and he'll go to work on Josh Isaacs.
Third baseman, number 24, Josh Isaacs.
That curveball straddled that inner half. In fact, it was just outside of the inner half, and it broke in on the right-handed batter for the second out. So here comes Josh Isaacs. He waits, offers on the first pitch. Blaine Schmidt will throw him out, and that's a 1-2-3 second for Max Tramontana. We go to the bottom half of the frame. No score here in Amelia on Chatterbox Live. We head to the bottom of the second. No score here in Amelia. Fairfield and Moeller here getting after it this afternoon, and what we expect will be a great pitcher's duel this afternoon. The defense for the visiting team today in Fairfield, Kemper Murray in left, John Rodriguez in center. Ashton McCann is in right field. The infield around the horn, Josh Isaacs at third base, Noah Waxter at shortstop, Ian Hensley gets to start at second base, Connor Rocky's at first base, and Reese Wayhoff catches Aaron England, who hopes to replicate what Max Tramontana just did, pitch a second straight inning of shutout ball.
Well, you could say Tramontana did a replication of what Aaron England did the inning before. I mean, both pitchers certainly dialed things up just a little bit and worked through a seamless inning very quickly.
4, 5, and 6 coming up here for Moeller. Nathan Manley takes. Pitch misses the corner on the inside, 1-0. Manley to be followed by Charlie Niehaus and Blaine Schmidt. Aaron England, by the way, has come of age here this season, just a sophomore, as he offers ball 1, and that one caught the corner. We even up. So a year ago, he was throwing a fastball right around 75, 76 miles an hour. He had the good curveball last year, but he didn't have a lot to work against it. The fastball, as we see the 1-1, rides right on the corner. Beauty pitch, 1-2. Gained about 10 ticks in the offseason. So all of a sudden, he went from throwing 75, 76 to 85, 86.
You got the Top Gun 2 movie out right now. He's got the need for speed.
1-2. Foul back, we'll do it again. Manley to be followed by Charlie Niehaus and Blaine Schmidt, as we had just mentioned. He set the side down in order in 9 pitches, struck out Nate early to close out the first. So he's got some confidence. He looks good. He's not riding the ball high right now. He's in the strike zone. 1-2. The lefty deals. Missing down and away, not by a whole lot, 2-2.
Well, I think that's one thing. England worked so quickly in that first inning, didn't really have a chance to touch on it, but he seemed calm, collected, and like you said, fastball wasn't riding high at all.
2-2. Swing, foul tip back into the glove of Reese Wayhoff, and that's the second straight strikeout here this afternoon for Aaron England.
The shortstop, number 19, Charlie Niehaus.
So what you have right now is deception, and that's what right now Moeller, 4 batters in, looks like they're dealing with. They see fastball, they get the curve. They're expecting the curve, they get the heater. So part of it's pitch calling right now, and part of it is just the good stuff. And this one down in the dirt, nicely scooped by Reese Wayhoff, 1-0. So England, as we had mentioned, came of age this season. Had a 17 strikeout game earlier this year. Fastball on the inside black, and we even up. So far in the early minutes, that's his pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point about strikeouts, you and I talked in preparing for this game. England had that 17 strikeout game, and then his next 4 starts had 17 strikeouts combined. And the next thing you know, he's thrown 2 already in the 4 batters that he's faced.
Now, this is an outstanding Moeller team, a team that hits .313 on the year. So what he's done even in the first inning is no small feat. Swing and a miss. Well, I think right now, if you're Moeller, if you're up there guessing, you better guess right. Charlie Niehaus is a .397 hitter. 2-2 the count. Out of the wind is England. He deals. It's in the air. Foul. We'll do it again. Both teams are going to go with their horse for as long as possible and hope and pray for a good situation tomorrow, pending a good outcome, right? You win today, and then you worry about tomorrow's starting pitcher tomorrow, or maybe a little later today after the game is done.
Survive and advance. That's the name of the game.
2-2 for England. Here he comes. Curveball, knee buckler. Niehaus does not offer, and we go full. Charlie is patient at the plate. 53% on base percentage this year. And he's got a full count. He has worked the count full. And he is a base runner. That's the first base runner this afternoon for the Moeller Crusaders.
Well, so we've touched on it just a hair earlier, but that is an Achilles heel for both pitchers in this game. You saw Tramontana's already walked 2 batters, and now England's walked his first of the day. That is something that could sneak up on both these pitchers.
Blaine Schmidt's the 1-out batter. Infield looking for 2. Rocky at first, holding on the base runner, and they'll throw over to first as a token move back of Niehaus. So Schmidt's at the plate, 6 foot tall, 190 pounds, senior right-hander, bats him as he throws him, .284 hitter this year. Has driven in 16 as he takes. That one broke across the plate. Schmidt to be followed by Geoff Kim. And for the first time today, we see Aaron England work out of the stretch. And he'll step off and throw over to first. By the way, while we're talking about athletes who are well-toned and obviously have a good diet, well, I don't know about high schoolers, but if you're an athlete of some sort, you do think about what you intake. Do you know what today is? And a long drive into deep left field. Back and away back. It's over the head of Kemper Murray. Here comes Niehaus around third. He's headed for the plate. The throw is not in time. 1-0 Moeller. On a double to left by Blaine Schmidt. He plates Niehaus from first. And the game's first salvo is shown by Moeller this afternoon.
For those of you watching at home who have been down to the Red Stadium and just about any other professional ballpark in America, if the opposing team walks a batter at some point on that screen, it's going to come up walks will haunt, and that's the exact reason why. You allow one base runner there, and the next thing you know, crushing a double, Schmidt puts Moeller on the board first.
Geoff Kim is at the plate. He has a runner in scoring position in Blaine Schmidt, who plated the first run just a moment ago. 275 hitter is Geoff Kim. England paying attention at second, and now this one's skied in the shallow center field. John Rodriguez moving to his left towards the right center gap makes the second out.
Good quick pump fake there to keep runner on at second.
The designated winner, number 4, Connor Christensen.
So to finish up on a point before this escapes us, do you know what today is? I'll answer it for you.
I don't have it.
Today is National Donut Day.
Ooh. I was thinking since we were in a ballpark, it might be Hot Dog Day, but Donut Day. Ooh.
I do favor the Boston cream, or some might call it custard.
Oh, yeah. Big favorite.
This one rides high, ball one. So we've only seen one hit in this ball game. It was that ringing double by Schmidt. It played at Niehaus just a moment ago. 2 out here in this home second, and Moeller already has the lead, 1-0, and it breaks up a streak of 12 scoreless innings for Aaron England.
Well, that's impressive for any pitcher, but you want to take into account the fact that he's a sophomore and that he pitched the majority of those innings in the postseason. That's quite impressive. Start another streak.
Connor Christensen is 5'9", 160 pounds, a junior. The DH today as he steps out of the path on a pitch inside. So we saw the short inning by England in the first. Now he's having a bit of a longer inning here this time around.
Yeah, both pitchers have had one, 2, 3 inning, and the other one with a little bit of trouble.
Got the plate. Nice pitch. 2-1. Christensen, beg your pardon. Go ahead.
Not to keep harping on it, but Manley's play there down to first base to stop it from being 2 runners on with 1 out, and instead 1 runner on with 2 outs. That's you can't say enough about it in a game as tight as this.
Connor Christensen is a .338 hitter this year. The long look back at second. The step out and the call for time by Christensen. Should he reach, it'll be Keelan Daniel in the 9-hole. Keelan, by the way, is a .377 hitter. How would you like a .377 hitter in the 9-hole?
I did raise an eyebrow about that when I saw that in the starting lineup. I mean, man, what a luxury.
A check of second. England deals plateward. Check swing, and he got a piece of it. It's into the glove of Wayhoff, and we even up. Connor has driven in 12 this year. He gets on base about 42.5% of the time. And this is why Moeller's ranked #1 in the state. You have this big lineup with no weaknesses. You don't have a lot of power. Well, you have good power. It's just not overwhelming power. And you have this very good rotation, a very good bullpen. No weaknesses here for the Crusaders this year. Took something off that one. We go full. This next pitch will be pitch number 31 of this ball game for Aaron England. And we're looking down to the bullpen. It's a little early to be thinking about bullpen help right now, but pitch usage, especially, you have a damage inning here where you've thrown 21 pitches. It's a lot. Here's pitch number 22 of the frame. Got him! Inning over, but not without damage. A run on a hit and a runner left, and we got a brand new score here at Midland. 1-0 in favor of the #1 team of the state, the Moeller Crusaders, here on Chatterbox Live. To the third inning we go. Max Tramontana has staked to a 1-0 lead, and to take you through the next 3 innings, Nathaniel Hipsley.
Thank you, Jeff. Looking at a 1-0 ball game out here. Fairfield still hasn't gotten fully through the order on the efficiency of Moeller starting pitcher Max Tramontana, so it will be the bottom of the order back into the top as we've got Ashton McCann, the 8-hole hitter, Ian Hensley, the 9-hole, and then right back up to Noah Wagser, who will get his second crack at the righty for Moeller. Tramontana deals, heavy contact to start. Handled by third, and the throw in time. Nicely done. There's Blaine Schmidt with a good play.
Ashton McCann got a pitch on the inner half, something he thought he can handle, but right at Schmidt, who's a really tough guy out there. By the way, how tough is he? He's lost a couple of teeth during the season in a collision with Nate Early, and he's not a small guy. And is come back to play here this season.
Pitch rides high and inside to Ian Hensley. And that one high again. So the second baseman looking at a friendly 2-0 count. Tramontana deals, and so that's 3 straight times he's gone upstairs.
And 3 straight out of the zone. So you think about how you handle success in life, right? You're stick to a 1-0 lead. What do you want to do? You want to throw strikes.
That time with the get-over pitch goes right down the heart of the plate and leaves it in the middle. Leaves that one high, though, and that is the 3rd walk issued today by Tramontana.
Weird to think about in this game, and way too early to talk about anything legendary, but given that he's already thrown 2 of them this year, he still hasn't given up a hit yet. He's got a lead. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
I got to say, I think in the first no-hitter this year, he issued 3 walks in that game. So that's the only thing that's been keeping him less than perfect, as he deals that one for ball 1. Wagster flied out his last time up. See what he has in store this time. A 1-0 count. Swing and a foul off the right side. 1-1.
Different position, partner, but not that different than the leadoff hitter who plays for Moeller and C.J. Richard. Sleight of built, great wrists, fast hands through the strike zone, awfully spry on the base paths.
That one high again, and that's something that Tramontana has been struggling with the last couple of batters here.
Well, and this is something that we had talked about before, right? These are young kids. I mean, they're still high schoolers. Emotions are something that you ride the crest of the wave with. You got a 1-0 lead in a game like this, it's a big deal.
That ball crushed, and it's fair down the left field line. They've got runners held up at first and second, but the first base hit of the game is on by Noah Wagster, and they've got runners on first and second with 1 out.
Again, we were talking. Really strong wrists and fast hands through the strike zone. He was able to get a pitch right over the heart of the plate and knew exactly what to do with it. It did just die past third base. Ergo, it wasn't extra bases. That will come. As he gets bigger and older, those are pitches that, instead of line drives, they'll be high flies.
Wiseman gets a little chip of it as the ball goes past. And that will be strike number 1.
Now, this is the first real threat for Fairfield this afternoon. And, you know, this is a team that has scored 146 times this year. They've given up 97. They got a plus 49 differential. They've been awfully good.
Wiseman waits on that one, and that's something Tramontana's been throwing high heat, and instead he tries to settle in to a bit of a curve pitch, and whew.
Well, he's got an excellent one. We're talking about Arsenal Charlie on both sides here today for England and Tramontana.
It's a mark of a good pitcher. He can attack you in different ways. 0-2 count, tries to drop that one in there, but leaves it high, 1-2.
Well, and again, this is emotions. He's riding the crest of the wave right now, and, you know, this is a young man that when, pun intended, pun not intended, depending upon your point of view, he's max effort when he's out on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. You hear it on big pitches when he grunts out there, and check swing. They're appealing, and he's going to be safe. So 2-2 the count.
Well, it looked obvious from our point of view, and then they had to appeal down to the first base umpire, Don Hammond, and he had to, I think, nonchalantly say he's no swing.
I thought he was waiting for dramatic effect. 2-2 count. That one outside, 3-2. So a full count.
On the other side, if you're Fairfield, you just gave up a run in the last frame. How do you deal with this? This is how they're dealing with this right now.
Big opportunity for the Indians. Wiseman right back at the pitcher. Chance for a double play, and they've got it. 6-4-3 to end the inning. And we will head to the bottom here on Chatterbox Plus. Bottom of the third inning, Nathaniel Hipsley and Geoff Kim out here at Midland Baseball Field out in Amelia, Ohio. Fairfield and Moeller going at it. Moeller with the chance to bat here in the bottom of the third. They've got a 1-0 lead at the moment after a double by Blaine Schmidt. So up to the plate for his first time today, Keelan Daniel, the right fielder. And he will have to face Aaron England.
Aaron cruised to that first inning, and then he had a harder time getting through the second frame. But again, Moeller is a team that hits .313 on the year. And we had mentioned this. Why are they the #1 team in the state? No weaknesses. That means the batting order, that means the rotation, that means your bullpen.
Let's see what the sophomore comes with here on the first pitch. Big swing and a miss, and he's quickly ahead, 0-1.
Bottom of the third for Moeller. This is Keelan Daniel.
We mentioned the .377, right? How would you like to get on base 53.5% of the time from the 9-hole?
It's a big thing with Moeller. A lot of their players just get on base at an alarming rate as that pitch drops in there to make it 0-2. Great pitch from Aaron England.
By the way, great pitch. 11-5, really, if you were looking at it from his point of view. Great drop, 2 planes.
Daniel, big swing and a miss, and he is down on strikes. Well, if you're wondering if that last inning rattled England at all, waste no time. 1-2-3 gets Daniel. And back to the top of the order we go. C.J. Richard and Toby Huber will be next up for the Crusaders.
He struck out 4 already, by the way. And again, this is a Moeller lineup that puts the ball in play. This is very hard to do.
The pitch, and leaves that one low for Richard. Grounded out to second his first time up.
We mentioned that he added 10 miles an hour to his fastball in the offseason, and that's what's given him deception and made the curveball a true plus pitch.
That one launched out towards center field, going back and making the catch easily is John Rodriguez. A little bit of light cardio for Rodriguez, and there are 2 down in the inning.
The second baseman #2, Toby Huber.
Well, not exactly a can of corn. And again, you know, the viewpoint that you and I get, we're at field level. We're behind the netting. So fly balls in the outfield, if they have elevation, if they're not hit a certain way, you're thinking, is this a pop-up or is this a fly ball into the outfield? And it takes another second for us to recognize. No problem recognizing it for Rodriguez. Off of the drop of the bat, right? He was able to see that it had a slight pull off to the left side. Easy move to his right for the second out.
1-0 quick count on Toby Huber. And England levels it at 1-1. Third pitch, and Huber dribbles that one down the line. There will be no play at first. And that's a tough spot, as England had to pick it up. There's not much he could do with that one, and by the time he had a hand on it, Huber was just about to first.
And keeping up with Huber, right? I mean, beg your pardon, with Aaron England. We mentioned the 17 strikeout game. That was a 1-hit shutout against Middletown back on April the 25th. He pitched a 2-hit shutout in a game you and I called 2 weeks ago. Actually, 15 days ago. It was a Thursday, right, against St. X, the 8 versus 9 game. He walked 1 in that game, struck out 6, went the distance on a 2-hitter. The stuff is there.
Well, he's going to have to bring his best as he leaves that one upstairs for Nate Early. Early, 20 RBI on the season. He's got a runner over there at first base in Toby Huber. 6 doubles, 3 triples, 3 home runs. And this should be another out for Fairfield. Nicely done. You forget you've got a lefty on the mound. You can catch them napping every once in a while. Fairfield does, and they are out of the inning. To the top of the 4th we'll go here on Chatterbox Plus.
CSN Sports is honored to be a part of the LHSA and a source for all your team and club music.
Moving right along here on a Friday afternoon down at Midland Field. The Van Pipsley and Geoff Kim on hand. It's a 1-0 ball game here in the top of the fourth. Have the heart of the order coming up for the Indians in Rodriguez, Rocky, and Murray.
By the way, we have the Lebanon Warriors who have the next game coming on up, just hanging out right behind us. They're taking it in like we're taking it in right now. Hell of a pitcher's duel right now between these two guys going on the hill.
Imagine you'll be looking at the same in the game after this when Lebanon takes on Mason.
Well, think about this. Lebanon, through their playoff run, has given up 0 runs. So has Mason. Moeller's given up 1 run in this run, and Fairfield 2. I've never seen anything like it in a regional Final Four.
You're telling me out of all 4 teams that are left, they've allowed a combined 3 runs in this entire postseason.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Coming into today, of course.
Yes.
You got Moeller now with 1 run on the board, and here's Rodriguez, the leadoff hitter, looking at a 1-0 count from Tramontana, and he hits that one out towards left field. It will drop for Rodriguez's first hit of the day.
Well, this is what happens when you leave one right out over the plate. Just below the belt, and Rodriguez knew exactly what to do with it going inner half. And again, good hitting through the strike zone. Got the bat head out, got the sweet spot on it, and it's just a line shot. Had he put air on that, that's a fly out to Katie, but instead he gets a base hit out of it.
That pitch dealt outside for Connor Rocky. Popped out to short his last time up.
Tramontana, by the way, has thrown 45 pitches so far, a batter deep into the 4th inning, and Aaron England threw 40 pitches.
Swing and a miss by Rocky. That'll even up 1-1.
Well, there's the good fastball there, right? We talked about it going about 88 to 90. It looked like that one was up a tick a bit.
So no out. Runner on first. First baseman Rocky squares up as if to bunt, pulls it off, and it counts 2-1.
That might have been a bit of a decoy, right? I don't know if he had full intent to actually put that one down. They wanted to see what Blaine Schmidt was going to do at third, and if you saw, as he squared around a bunt, he came running on in. As it is now, he's stepped in on the grass.
A little cautious, you put the doubt in their mind, and peeled it away one more time, but not in time, so 2-2. Throw to the bunt comes off, and you'll see Schmidt back on the dirt. 2-2 count, and Rocky just lucky to foul that one off. Nice curveball coming in there from Tramontana.
Rocky's been kind of a center of discussion with us, and I'll see if he sticks around. We can tell you about the story here.
On the 2-2 count, swing and a miss, and Rocky's gone on high gas. As Tramontana lays down another one.
The left fielder, number 1, Caden Campbell.
Out number 1, so that'll bring up Kemper Murray to the plate.
Oh, we got a pinch hitter.
Indeed.
Caden Campbell, lefty pitcher, also going to Louisville. He's committed to Louisville, and I say also because Aaron England is, and he's the first man out of the pen. So it'll be interesting to see if we see him here in the bottom of the frame.
Campbell with the 0-1 count, quickly takes.
Well, there is no tomorrow, right?
It's 0-2. Interesting gamesmanship from the Indians here. Tramontana deals, and Campbell just lucky to foul that one down the right line.
Caden's a .290 hitter this year. He's scored 5 times. He's driven in 4. So they'll do this 0-2 pitch again. Tramontana
Quick check over to first base. Rodriguez still there. Runners going, and that one grounded right between the gap. Quick throw back to second, trying to catch Rodriguez off the bag, but the gamble by Tommy Begley pans out. Little single by Campbell, just able to get it through the defense of Moeller. And now you're looking at runners on first and second with one out in the ball game as Reese Wayhoff comes up to the plate.
And for the second time in 2 innings, they now have multiple runners on base.
Wayhoff struck out looking his last time up, and he'll look at strike number 1 there.
I don't want to say Tramontana's been bailed out, but he's had really good defense behind him this afternoon.
Tramontana deals, swing and a miss, and that's 0-2. Oh, you're right. If not for a good play made by the catcher in that first inning, 3 separate times in this game, Tramontana would have had runners at first and second. As it is, this is the second time it's happened today.
Soso had a double play help him out.
On the 0-2 count, that's going to be a double play coming up here if they can catch Campbell. Campbell trying to lay it out, dives, and now the attempt will be made to put Rodriguez in a pickle. Rodriguez coming back. That one squirts into the outfield. Indians might have a chance. Campbell at second, Rodriguez at third, and somehow, by a comedy of errors, Moeller wastes an opportunity to end the inning. Are you kidding me?
That is a comedy of errors, literally and figuratively.
So now you've got Campbell at second base, Rodriguez at third. 2 outs in the inning, as you'll remember, it was Wayhoff who set that whole thing into motion.
So here's how it unraveled. You had the throw down on the quick boomerang throw to first. It picked off the runner in Campbell. He got away. It was a late tag attempt, so 3-6, and then they throw to 5, the third baseman, and then Schmidt throws it away into the outfield. Both runners are safe, and if they pull a run, much less 2 runs out of this, you're going to say that Fairfield is a lucky rabbit's foot somewhere.
Well, Josh Isaacs, a .227 hitter coming into this game, takes the ball low, but what's important about him is he leads the team in RBI.
Isaacs is also the biggest power threat on this team. He's got a couple of bombs to lead the team.
1-0 count as Tramontana is going to have to work himself out of a 2-out jam here. Deals at plate work, big swing and a miss. 1-1.
He was going for the downs and a crooked number on that one. And the fastball rode a bit on the high side. He was looking for something a little bit low down towards the knees.
Best chance the Indians have had all day. Tramontana deals at plateward for ball 2.
Max has now thrown 60 pitches here in this ball game. And while he's not been inefficient, he could use an easy inning if he's able to maintain a 1-0 lead.
Wiseman, Isaacs calls time, steps out.
How good has Max been, by the way? He's allowed just 2 unearned runs since the start of May. On 5 hits and 13 walks, he struck out 37, covering 25 and a third innings coming into this ballgame. He's now about ready to try to tack on 4 complete, so 29 innings. And he's thrown, basically, he's not given up an earned run since the start of May. That's how good he's been.
Still has Isaacs to contend with. Game of cat and mouse going on between pitcher and batter. 2-1 count. Tramontana gets strike 2 on the outside corner.
Good pitch. Even if Isaacs had gone out of the strike zone to go, step into towards the plate and try to get contact in that, I'm not sure he would have.
So Tramontana able to level the count at 2-2. Another big pitch. He came around. Goodbye. Took a second for that call. Isaacs came all the way around, and Tramontana gets away unscathed once again. To the bottom of the fourth we will go here on Chatterbox Plus. Bottom of the fourth inning. Due up for the Crusaders, it will be Nate Early, who did not finish off his last at-bat in the previous inning, followed by Nathan Manley and Charlie Niehaus. Nathaniel Hipsley and Geoff Kim joining you for Chatterbox. And Jeff, although the scoreboard reads 1-0, that really doesn't tell the tale or do this ball game justice, as we just saw in the top of the frame.
I think you and I are going to be thinking about the last half inning for a while. And it's just because everything was a reaction on that, the running of the bases. Hey, we're trying to get another out on the bases. And sometimes if you're playing the field, you have to think you have to decide in a split section. It's really more about reaction at that point instead of thinking that, hey, let me run the runner down, and if he gets away from me, that's fine, but don't let the runner that's at third base go home. Moeller's actually very lucky that the lead runner didn't go home and tie the ball game.
England with his first pitch has that one crushed right back up through second base, and that will be Nate Early on board. Well, you wondered, he struck out looking in the first inning, and with an on-base percentage of nearly 60%, figured he was about due to board up.
Little history lesson while we have a moment. The last time these two teams met, it was in the district semifinals 7 years ago. Moeller was the top seed, Fairfield was a 10 seed. On March 21st, 2015, Moeller would end up representing Region 4. They won that game 7-2, and of course they would go on to win state that year.
With Nate Early aboard, Nathan Manley steps into the box. Strike out his last time. Squares around as if to bunt, and instead takes contact. That's Manley on down to first.
So 2 straight pitches and 2 straight base runners. By the way, we had saw Caden Campbell pinch hit in the last frame. We were wondering very openly if he would come in and pitch. Right now, there's no action in the Fairfield bullpen, and we got a slow walk right now by Tommy Begley. So it's Begley right now moving out there and not the pitching coach, Andrew Gunther. So we'll see if England can talk his way, keep his way into this ballgame. But right now, you have to think that even if he stays in, they're working batter by batter at this point and not inning by inning.
I would imagine, and with a dangerous lineup such as Moeller's, you kind of have to swivel your thinking a little bit. However, you look at what Aaron England has been able to accomplish this season, and I would imagine if he's been able to get you this far and he's shown what he's shown in this season, you do give him probably a little bit longer leash than you normally would on another pitcher. That being said, though, this is the postseason, so that does change a little bit of the math.
And he did stay in.
Yeah. I would imagine, that was more to calm his pitcher down and potentially see if somebody starts warming up, but I think it'll be a little bit of time before we're really in the danger zone.
Well, and we've gotten to know Coach Begley here very well in the last few weeks. One of the things that he does really well is just get an idea of who he's talking to, what they're saying, and how they're saying it. England gave him enough here to stay in the ballgame.
Pickoff attempt, and Early back in time. Would go a long way. He's already struck out 4 different batters in this game. If he could get strikeout number 5 here on Niehaus, that would help quite a bit. For all that, hasn't yet delivered a pitch. Deals that one way high, and that'll advance the runners to second and third. Another run for Moeller standing 90 feet away.
Well, and again, this is what we were talking about prior to the ball game. It's not the first run of the ball game that you're thinking about or worried about, because at that point, the game always hinges on the next batter, no matter what. It's the insurance run that you got to be concerned about. So the way Tramontana has pitched out of trouble here in this ball game, and also pitched across the month of May into June, you give him a 2-0 lead, that might be shut the door time.
England layers that one in there to level the count at 1-1 to Niehaus. Another one. That one crushed and drops into center field. That will plate a run, and it is now 2-0, Moeller on top.
And how big was that wild pitch?
Indeed it was. You've got Niehaus now standing there at first. Credit him with the RBI. And then Manley over at third. So a couple of errors by England. The wild pitch advanced the runners, but also the only reason Manley's there is because he was hit by a pitch.
Time called.
Still no outs in the inning. You'd have to imagine somebody's beginning to get warm for Fairfield.
Again, time.
Well,
and again, time. Caden Campbell's going to be, unless something happens here that's drastic and you have a crooked number here in this frame, Caden Campbell's going to be the next pitcher. It's just a matter of when at this point, whereas maybe a few innings ago it was a case of if Campbell would make it into this ball game.
So this is one of those crucial moments. No outs at the moment. Runners on the corners. Trying to limit the damage if you're Fairfield. If you're Moeller, trying to crack this puppy wide open. Throw back to first.
By the way, as we're kind of getting an eyeball at how the infield is set up. First, they're holding a runner over at third. They're playing even with the bag over at third base. The infield's looking for two. I don't know if they're looking for two to give up a run. But at this point, if you're Tommy Begley, you kind of say that might be an even exchange.
Strike dealt in there to Blaine Schmidt. And England going to toss it over to first. Once again, holding Niehaus on.
Something that we brought up right now, because this run that had crossed in this frame is an unearned run. Coming into this ball game, Fairfield has given up 36 unearned runs. That's 37% of what they've given up this year.
Ball popped up, headed toward first base, and that is all important, out number one. They'll gun down Schmidt and bring to the plate Griff Cady.
And right now, if you're Tommy Begley, now you're actually hoping for a sharply hit ground ball to turn two and get out of the inning without any more damage. So instead of the exchange of a run equaling 2 outs, you're just trying to say, well, we'll give you nothing more.
So Cady to the plate. Fly it out to center his last time up. And he'll step out of the batter's box. No surprise, been a lot of calls for a little extra time. In high leverage games such as this one, both in the postseason and given the score. First pitch, and that one launched out towards right field. It will drop, caught, and they're going to try and score the runner in, and one run comes across. Tagging up and scoring from third is Nathan Manley, and it is now 3-0.
That's a big-time sac fly for Griff Cady, who drives in his 20th run of the year.
So make that 2 outs in the inning, and Connor Christensen coming to the plate. Well, England's been out there trying to limit the damage best he can, and he does get an out of that, but that's another 2 runs that have come across here in inning number 4.
Christensen, by the way, is committed to Air Force. So it's not a big stretch to think that somewhere down the line in his future, maybe 10 years from now, after he's gone through the academy and service time, that he might actually be stationed just, I don't know, about 50 minutes away from here up north at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
Certainly possible. Pickoff attempt is going to get another one. That's the second time today that Aaron England has been able to gun down a base runner just by a pickoff attempt. And boy, did he need it. Inning is over, but not before the Crusaders are able to plate two. We'll be back with the top of 5 here on Chatterbox. Welcome back to Amelia Midland Field. Daniel Hipsley and Geoff Kim here in the top of the 5th inning. Score change as the Crusaders plated 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th, so now a 3-0 lead.
We had some histrionics in between innings.
Hang on a second, we're still here in bottom 4.
So that is Christensen up there.
So we had a question about a tag, and they're going to advance the runner. We had thought initially called out, and they're going to say the runner Niehaus safe at second base, not tagged out, and that's what led to all the commotion.
And we're seeing Begley in with the first base umpire, Don Hammond. He's not thrown away Begley. Begley, now he's talking with the home plate umpire.
There's going to have to be explanations abounding. Fairfield hacked off at the moment.
Well, incredibly, because that looked like that was an outplay to end the inning, 1-3-6, and instead, the inning's still alive. A runner on second, so you've got a runner in scoring position, and now we've got more of a conference. We see Tim Held out there, and he and Tommy Begley are separated by the umpires right now, and now we're seeing the coaching staff getting a little bit more animated for Moeller.
This is one of those, you don't see this scenario very often in high school athletics. It's also going to be a tough one to figure out how exactly you score that. Go down as a stolen base?
Well, that's...
Go down as an error? Who knows?
Well, at this point, it can't be an error, right? I think this... And if this was the pro game, right, this would be technically caught stealing, and you reached on a... Well, I don't know if you can call it a fielder's choice at that point, because if it's up to the fielder, he's choosing to record the out. If you just don't record the out, then technically that would be the steal. So you've got some histrionics. I would say this: if you're scoring with us at home, and we know you are, call that a stolen base. Christensen's got a man in scoring position, and they have a chance to up their lead from 3-1 to 4-1, and if that, I'm sorry, 3-0 to 4-0, and that might be more than enough for Tramontana to go the distance, save the bullpen until tomorrow, and allow Toby Huber to have a full complement of support behind him should they go to the regional championship game tomorrow afternoon.
You could see out there for a little bit Aaron England trying to toss around with the infield a little bit, trying to keep himself warm while the umpires are going through all the discussions that come with controversy such as this.
Well, we have some time. We can talk a little bit about the other side of the bracket. Mason, who's the Cincinnati 2 seed, of course, they're ranked 3rd in the D1 state poll. They won Southwest 3 with a 6-0 shutout of the Dayton 3 seed Miamisburg, ranked 16th. So the Vikings were in a pushover in that game. Brennan Garula last Saturday went 4 1/3. He struck out 11 for the win. I don't know if he'll be the one going in the nightcap of this one here in Amelia. It will either be him or Noah Samol. Pick your poison. And we had mentioned a little bit ago about Lebanon, who finished 5th in the ECC this year. They're the 11th seed out of the Dayton bracket. The Warriors have yet to give up a run here in this tournament. They upset the top seed in the Dayton side of the bracket, Butler, ranked 7th in the state, 3-0. Parker Dilhoff went the distance on a one-hitter last week, striking out 14.
14.
By the way, Lebanon has 2 fabulous lefties. One's going to Wichita State, the other's going to Louisville. One throws 91, the other throws 95. And now we have the home plate umpire and the third base umpire, Kyle Oldegies, talking with Tim Held. And now they're just trying to make sure that everybody's on the same page. There's no ambiguity or confusion. Held's in a good spot. He's going to be much more agreeable right now because he's got the runner at second base. He's got the lead right now in the middle of the innings. He can now mix, play for outs, and so long as he's ahead, he's going to be happy with that.
Well, about 3 or 4 different conferences went down there. They've got it sorted, it would appear. So just to refresh you on the situation, you've got Charlie Niehaus out there on second base. There are 2 down in the inning. Niehaus is not out on the base paths. And Aaron England still has to contend with Connor Christensen. Deals that pitch a ball.
And after all of that, we finally get to the at-bat. And a big lead out there by Niehaus. I mean, I think he senses this, that he's got a really nice secondary lead out there at second. If he's able to plate this run and go up 4-0, that might be the game.
Sends this one popped up. Looks like first base will have a play on it. And the inning, a couple pitches later, is over. Hope you're able to follow all of that and stick with us. We'll be right back with the true top of the 5th. Welcome back, Nathaniel Hipsley and Geoff Kim. It is the top of the 5th inning here out in Amelia, Ohio. The Moeller Crusaders leading 3-0 over the Fairfield Indians.
I'm going to ask you, what was that? I mean, what did we just see in the last half inning?
Well, you know, to summarize the whole thing, obviously you've got the controversy there in the bottom of 4. You're looking, I believe it was the top of 4. It was where you had a bit of a pickle going. So we've enjoyed certainly an inning of activity. We'll see what the 5th here has in store for us.
The biggest thing to understand right now is Max Tramontana's got a 3-run lead and he's got 9 more outs to go.
Bounces that pitch wild and in the dirt. Lucky to have no one aboard as he deals ball 1 to Ashton McCann. He'll be followed by Ian Hensley and Noah Wagster as we once again head to the top of the order for the second time for Fairfield. And that one, ball 2. There's one thing you can get on Tramontana for today. It has been lack of efficiency with his pitches. Has already walked 3 batters. And with ball 3 there is 1 pitch away from walking batter number 4.
Well, something to be said about the situation we're in here in the 5th. Tramontana has got a 3-run lead, but he got a lot of rest. So given with that rest, how does he come back out? He's not going to be sharp, right? Because he just sat for a long time.
3-1 pitch, and Tramontana sails it. Big old bat flip. Got to be careful there. Wonder if McCann... All right, they're going to let him take his base, but that's always tough when you saw a couple of the Fairfield players duck for cover on that one. When you pimp a bat flip to that level, yeah, you're getting a talking to from the home plate umpire now. That's a warning.
Well, I understand part of that is built on frustration of the last half inning. But bat flipping is only meant for home runs and really nothing else.
I will say, I don't mind a good bat flip every now and again. I think it's a fun part of today's game. I probably wouldn't flip in a situation like that, but given what happened in the bottom of last inning, I'm cool with it. It's just that he tried to send that all the way to Kentucky.
By the way, as we continue to progress through this game, we talked about just breezy conditions coming into this contest. The wind is blowing decidedly in from right in our direction, and there's a swirl in the outfield. You're going to have to really hit one right on the screws to be able to get one out today.
It'll be Ian Hensley into the batter's box, looking for the bunt, throw over to first base, not in time. and McCann will stay there safe. 0-1 count to Hensley. Cautious lead off, and McCann will have to dive right back. Moeller's going to do their best to keep any runs from coming across the rest of the way, just try and shut this one down. Tramontana deals that one, and a hack will go foul down the left field line. 0-2. If they can hold on to this shutout, Moeller, that would be their 8th since the month of May began. Tramontana deals. Whoa, way outside. And catcher once again trying to throw over to first. They've been doing their best to try and pick off runners.
By the way, including this ball game in which he's pitched 4 shutout frames, Max Tramontana is working on a streak of 24 1/3 innings of shutout baseball.
Ball is on the ground, and the play will be there at first base, but he dropped it. That is 2 runners safely aboard. For all intents and purposes, it looked like it was going to be an easy routine play for Moeller. Had Toby Huber flipping it over to Nate Early, and instead, it's 2 runners on, nobody out.
It looked like the ball, the flip was not in a great spot. It was kind of low left on the first baseman, but it looked like it was catchable. So I would imagine if you're going to call it the play, an error, it's E3 on the first baseman.
So both runners reach. It'll be the first time that there's been a conference on the mound for the Crusaders.
Well, right now, this is what you don't really want if you're Moeller, and part of it's not because of just what's going on today. You're thinking about today because you're just trying to get through and get the win, but you're also thinking about tomorrow and how do you best support Toby Huber, who will likely get the ball. If I was a betting man, and you know me well enough, I do, put money where my mouth is on occasion. I would imagine if Moeller goes on to win, Toby Huber will get the ball, and why not? He's had 9 starts this year. Moeller has won all 9 of them. He's got the decision in all of them. So he's 9-0 on the season, and you would think that he'd be the ace on your team. No, it's Tramontana. That's how good this Moeller team has been.
They're going to have a good long discussion out there. You would imagine Tramontana stays in the ball game.
And we see Held walking back towards the third base dugout. He was satisfied with what he heard. This was similar to what we saw a couple of innings ago with Tommy Begley and Aaron England. He came out, talked to England, wanted to make sure that he got what he heard correctly and made sure that there was enough confidence. I think he knows that Tramontana wants to finish this one.
That's how long that 4th inning lasted, as that one goes in there for a ball. That discussion happened at the bottom of last inning. That just happened, but it feels like an eternity ago for all of the baseball action that's happened in the interim. 1-0 count, Tramontana deals, that's 2-0. 2-0 to Noah Wagster. And this is the 3rd time that Fairfield has runners on first and second. Tramontana's been able to get himself out of trouble the last 2. Indians hoping to threaten here in the 5th as Wagster fouls that one straight on back.
Just got underneath that. Otherwise, that should have been a drive into the outfield. And you and I have been privy to this. Doubles to left. In fact, he had a double to left in a game that you and I did. He had a double to right, a 3-run double in the last game against Sycamore that keyed the 5-run second and basically put the game away. He's got power to all fields.
That one makes it 3-1. And we could be looking at a 5th walked batter by Tramontana.
Well, and let's also keep in mind this, that we've already seen 1 visit to the mound here. If we see Tim Held come back on out, you have to go to the bullpen at that point. And whoever's having to soak up the innings, whether it's Carson Marsh or somebody else out of the pen, that's going to be a lot to get 9 outs.
3-1 count for Wagster, rips away and fouls that one back. He wanted that one. So a full count is what you're looking at. The senior Tramontana working on the sophomore Wagster. Nobody out. Runners on first and second here in the top of the fifth. The pitch. Dealt low, and Wagster boards up. Bases are loaded for the DH, Josh Wiseman.
And Helt's coming back out. He's going to call for what looks like the right-hander.
Well, you wondered how long Tramontana would last out there, and he's been battling for most of the day, but it's interesting. He just hasn't had his best stuff for a majority of the afternoon. He worked a very quick second inning, and you thought he had maybe found his way after a couple walk batters in the first, but he never quite settled in despite not having allowed a run up to this point.
Hard to leave a ball game when you've had this, but again, he's also been bailed out by defense. You know, if you think back to the first, when we saw a base runner, and I believe it was Wiseman. Wiseman got on by a walk, and he was picked off. So he basically did help his own cause at that point, but he also got bailed out by a double play. You know, and this is what happens. So he's done well, but hey, Fairfield is in the catbird seat here. That they've got everything going. Nobody out, and the bases are juiced, and Carson Marsh will be the new pitcher.
Well, Marsh is the de facto closer for this team, and you would imagine that is the importance with which skipper Tim Held views this situation. He'll get a little opportunity to warm up here, but you know, you bring in your best in a high leverage scenario like this, hoping to get yourself out of a real pickle.
Well, they don't get much more of a pickle than bases loaded and nobody out.
Yeah, it's quite a mess to inherit, but you know, if you're going to send one guy out there, Carson Marsh is probably going to be the one for the job. Comes in with a 1.29 ERA, 4 saves on the season, 36 strikeouts. Very effective weapon in his arsenal, so see what he does as he will go to work on the first batter he faces today.
Number 13,
Josh Wiseman. Wiseman was thrown out on the base paths after reaching safely in the first inning, and then he grounded out to short back in the third.
Moeller's praying for fifth inning thunder right now. Throughout the season, in fifth inning ball of every ball game, they've scored 22 times, they've given up 22 runs. Whereas Moeller in these situations in the fifth inning, they've scored 23 times, they've only given up 2 runs in the fifth inning all year long. 2.
First pitch to be thrown by Marsh. In there for strike number 1. Welcome sign to Crusaders supporters. Oh, 1 count, and swing and a miss. Quickly 0-2 to Wiseman.
Marsh can bring it up there in a hurry. Fastball goes 88 to 90. He'll throw a bit of a slurve as well.
Drops that one in there, and that is called strike number 3. Gets Wiseman down, and now the double play ball is something to watch out for as Rodriguez comes to the plate. And that's exactly what you bring Marsh in for. That's his 37th strikeout of the season.
By the way, it's not closing the book, but right now Max Tramontana has pitched 4 innings, given up 3 base hits, no runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts.
That one hit right back to the pitcher, catches it, throws on to first. Inning is over. Thank you very much, Carson Marsh.
Wow.
Man, he is all kinds of fired up, and he should be. Comes in, strikes out the first batter, catches the next one right off the bat. Fantastic play, over to first base. 1, 2, 3, down they go. And to the bottom of the 5th we will go here on Chatterbox Plus. Bottom of the 5th inning out here in Amelia. Nathaniel Hipsley and Geoff Kim along for the ride on this afternoon. Aaron England still in the ball game to face Keelan Daniel, and then heading back to the top of the order for the Crusaders, it'll be C.J. Richard and Toby Huber.
Close the book on Max Tramontana. 4 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. He threw 77 pitches in the ball game, and he's in line for the win.
Well, there was a whole lot of chatter outside of that shutout number. And he did allow no runs, but a lot of that is thanks to his partner out of the bullpen, Carson Marsh.
Now, Marsh might be our player of the game. Wow.
Strike number 2 called to Keelan Daniel.
Nice pitch. Had a really nice crisp break on it to get the corner of the strike zone.
And England gets him down looking. 3 pitches, and Daniel is gone. Bring up C.J. Richard, who was grounded out to second, flied out to center, and will now get another crack at Aaron England. So 3-0 in this game. Fairfield had their best chance as that one scoots by the catcher. Had their best chance in the top of the frame, bases loaded, nobody out, and somehow Moeller able to hang 0 on him.
Well, remember what I had mentioned in the last frame. Moeller outscoring in the 5th their opponents 23-2. That stays put, by the way.
High fly ball to right field. Richard trotting along and dropped. Richard going to get into second with an error. Just one of those moments Ashton McCann lost it in the sun of the day. And now, with Toby Huber up, chance for Moeller to add on some insurance runs.
The second baseman, number 2, Toby Huber.
Well, that's just tough.
Well, it is a high sky today, for what it's worth. And when you have those high fly balls, and we did see the wind pushing the ball towards the line, that's a difficult play for McCann.
Foul tip will be strike number 1 to Huber.
And way off will come and have a quick chat with today's starting pitcher.
Keep your head in there too.
England continues to battle out there. Still has to take care of Huber.
Find a way too.
And unless something truly crazy happens that eliminates both batters, we'll be looking at Nate Early next.
By the way, that's a big lead by Richard out there, and there's a reason why England's paying attention to him. 20 stolen bases this year. Big-time power, speed threat. Going to Ohio State.
He's going right back to it. He's taking a healthy lead out there, stare down, and England leaves that one high. 1-1 to Huber. Would imagine there's going to be a toss coming back to second at some point. Richard is not respecting the pickoff ability of England any, if at all. Another ball dealt.
England's thrown 58 pitches today. He's become a lot more economical. He had one tough inning, that was his second, in which he gave up the run, and right now that's the go-ahead.
2-1 the count to Huber. And he takes a big hack. 2-2.
Come on, battle now too. Anything close?
Talked about Huber. He's not the team's best pitcher. That is Max Tramontana. He's not the best position player. You could argue that that's Nate Early or C.J. Richard, but he might be the most valuable player on this entire team.
certainly provides that spark. England, after a long look over to second, deals that one low and inside to run the count full.
Well, and to explain, right, we mentioned a little bit ago that the Crusaders have won all 9 of his starts. He's gotten a decision in all 9 of those starts. And you're talking about your starting second baseman who steals bases, and it's just somebody who sets the table very, very well for Early and the rest of the crew behind him. He's been incredibly valuable to them this year. So I haven't broached this with Tim Held. I'm sure that he's, at this point of the season, he's not going to tell me exactly who he thinks is the most valuable player. But right now, I think it's Huber.
Big full count pitch for England, and that one blazed right back at the shortstop Wagster. But by the time he gets up from the turf, there is no play to be made. Runners on the corners.
Infield base set. Wagster, he was in good position, but that ball was hit hard, and that ball almost caught him. And when he went to the ground, rolling to his arm side, he had no chance to go get him. So that's an infield base hit.
Which will bring up Nate Early to the plate. One of the last guys that you would want to see in a scenario like this. Runners on the corners, 1 out, and Early, a 400 hitter coming into this ball game, has struck out looking, hit a single that also was the first RBI of the game.
By the way, Huber's got wheels of his own. 21 stolen bases this year. So if you're thinking about a double play, that ball better be sharply hit on the infield to either to Wagster or to Hensley at second.
A 1 count to Early. And a runner's going. Huber is going to take second.
22nd stolen base of the year.
Something we haven't seen a ton of in this ball game. For a team that usually steals at about 4 bags a game, Moeller hasn't been as active on the base pass, and I'm imagining a lot of that is because of the left-handed nature of Aaron England.
Time called by the plate umpire. And they're going to intentionally walk Early.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Well, once you moved Huber into scoring position, it really made no sense not to intentionally walk him.
However, I will say, I saw this the other day, a complaint that anymore, no one with the intentional walk, you can just say that you plan to intentionally walk them. I wish you still had to throw those pitches out over the plate and intentionally walk someone. If someone wants to step into the path and cause a little bit of disturbance out there, hit a dinger if they want to, I still think you should be allowed to try.
I feel like I've seen this in a 1972 World Series between Cincinnati and Oakland. And by the way, I'm thinking, I'm trying to remember who was at the plate, who was anything. But there was a situation where I believe Johnny Bench was behind the plate for the Reds. He called for 4 outside, and the batter swung away because it was outside but within reach. And now you see they're playing in on the corners, by the way, trying to choke off the run.
And that conference ended with England still in the ball game. So just a couple words of encouragement. They're going to let the sophomore fight this one out. And that ball sent rocketing to center field, caught on the run. Nice catch made by the center fielder Rodriguez, but tagging up and scoring will be another run. C.J. Richard gets in, and that'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
Boy, he really put a charge into that one, Manley did. Had that gotten by Rodriguez, that clears the bases, and that's your exclamation point.
Indeed. Check here. Tommy Begley spoke to the home plate umpire. Now, he hasn't been out to the mound yet. Now you've got the umpires in a conference.
Well, I think maybe the question is, did the runner at third leave early?
Didn't leave, couldn't have left early because early's over at first.
You know, I got to tell you, the rim shot, I'm missing the rim shot somewhere.
No, Nate Early's still over there. Toby Huber at second base, and Richard, it appears, did not tag Early. He tagged Richard and then went home.
But another run created. You know, I think, you think about outs, productive outs that have got turned into runs, and that has been the mantra for Moeller today. And while officially none of the runs that Moeller has scored has come in on errors, I mean, we've seen little things, wild pitches, hit by pitches that lead into these situations in which a productive out turns into a run.
Well, they all add up over time, and that's how Moeller has managed to plate 4 across 5 innings. That one drops in there for strike number 1 to Charlie Niehaus.
Well, what do you call that? Death by 1,000 paper cuts?
Pretty much. So 2 outs in the inning. Runners on first and second. And that one's sent to right field. McCann headed towards it. And second baseman calls him off. And Hensley ends the inning. Not before Moeller puts one more on the board, provide a little extra insurance. When we return, we'll hand things back over to Geoff Kim. You are watching Chatterbox Plus. We are back with the top of the 6th inning. Moeller up 4-0 on Fairfield. Nathaniel Hipsley and Geoff Kim with you. And Geoff will take her home for the last 2 innings. Geoff, take her away.
Nathaniel, thank you very much. To reset, 3:30 down the lines here at Midland Field, or, as you will, Joe Hayden Field, as it's also known, and 385 to straight on center. The defense once more, Griff Cady in left, C.J. Richard in center, Keelan Daniel in right. The infield of Blaine Schmidt at third base, Charlie Niehaus at shortstop. Toby Huber's the second baseman, Nate Early at first, Nathan Manley catching Carson Marsh. Max Tramontana had gone 4 innings. He's in line for the win. Not his best effort, but his shutout streak's intact at 24 and a third innings pitched this year.
Well, at the end of the day, that's the mark of a good pitcher. When you don't have your best stuff, still don't allow any runs to go across.
Marsh deals on the inside corner, a fastball on the inner black. It's 0-1. He deals quickly. This one's skied in the air into shallow outfield. The shortstop gives way to the second baseman for the first out. So 2 pitches equal an out here in the visiting 6th inning. And Moeller has 5 more outs to record to get a date tomorrow afternoon with the winner of Mason and Lebanon. And that game in the nightcap, by the way, should be a hell of a game. This one below the knees for ball 1, and that's Campbell once again. We saw him come in to pinch hit for Murray his last time up, and he lines one deep in the left field. Griff Cady is there on the run for the second out. One pitch, 2 pitches, beg your pardon, and now a second out. Cady is going to Winona State. That's in Minnesota. I think the last time you and I had talked about them, Winona State is famous for a couple of things.
Well,
one may be obvious, the other might not. Foul back, strike 1.
Perhaps, let's see, Winona State, maybe produce Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder was named after the city. That is correct. That's the easy one.
Okay.
Strike, 0-2, and it's just been nothing but strikes here in this frame, it seems like. For the relief pitcher Marsh, who wiggled his way out of a bases-loaded jam in the last frame, fouled back.
Second one,
How good is your music history? And I do mean history.
I was going to say, if we're talking history, it's not great.
Strike 2 offering, swing and a miss, inning over. Marsh retires aside. In order, we head to the bottom of the 6th. 4-0 Moeller on Chatterbox Live. We go to the home 6th. 4-0 Moeller. The #1 Crusaders. Top seed in the Cincy bracket here in Southwest 4. Trying to ice their date to the region final tomorrow afternoon against the winner of Lebanon and Mason. By the way, as we understand it, Noah Samuel is going to start for the Comets this afternoon. Have you seen him?
I have not as of yet.
In a foursome in which we've talked about pitchers that have been hard to hit, Samuel might be the hardest to try to hit off of. I want you to think about that for a second. Because we've seen Tramontana today, and while he didn't have his best stuff, he threw shutout ball today. England's still on the hill, on for his 6th inning of work. I think we do see some throwing in the Fairfield bullpen, and it might still be Campbell to come out if that's the case. But right now it looks like they're going to ride the entire way with Aaron England on the hill this afternoon. And if nothing else, even if you don't win today, if you're Fairfield, the future is incredibly promising. England on the hill's got 2 more years in front of them, and so is their star shortstop, Noah Wagster.
Yep, absolutely.
So we go to the home 6, Blaine Schmidt at the plate. And he lines one off the glove of the first baseman. That's a base hit. On the first pitch of the home 6th, that's his 2nd hit of the ball game. 7th hit of the day for the Moeller Crusaders. And we'll have a pinch runner, a courtesy runner. That's 23. Ethan Sweat will run, 5'10", 195 pounds, a junior. He's in to run, and he's over at first. So Sweat in for Schmidt, and I would imagine we'll see Schmidt back playing third base in the top of the 7th.
Pitch running at first base for Moeller, number 23,
Griff
Ethan Sweat.
Cady will come to the plate. By the way, to close the book on what we were talking about in the last frame, have you figured out who else is from Winona? What else is the claim to fame?
Well, I got to be honest here. I didn't have it. However, with a little bit of off-the-air assistance, I'm going to go with a guess. I'm going to say Bob Dylan.
And you would be correct. So the times they are a-changing. And by the way, if you don't know that song, go look it up on your iTunes or Apple Music, and you'll hear a pretty good one. And this one gets away from the first baseman. So Sweat goes over to second, and they put yet another runner in scoring position. And that's been kind of the name of the game today. Wild pitches, hit by batters. So,
well,
that one gets away from the pitcher, E1. And that's the first error, I believe, today for Fairfield.
Well, that's one of those, you get in the game, you better be ready. And Sweat gets a trot over to second base, stretches legs a little bit.
Infield playing in on the corners. Both Rocky and Isaacs are in on the grass. Cady momentarily showed bunt. Now he pulls back on it, called strike. Riff, as we had mentioned before, is committed to Winona State. There are a lot of players committed to a lot of different places on this Moeller Ball Club, and that's part of the reason why they're #1 in the state. The throwback is high. It gets by the second baseman. On the third goes Sweat with a head first slide, and that one is thrown away. Held will give him the stop sign. And you would have seen a Little League home run basically off of that.
Well, and again, you know, credit to England and Isaacs as well. You know, they got back and played defensively to try and fend that one off, but that never should have happened in the first place. That's just an episode of trying to do too much, trying to make that play at second base and get a little fancy.
Sweat represents the 5th run of this ball game. Katie waits at the plate, trying to plate him. Curve, nice pitch, 2-plane break for a strike. And right now, given the way Tramontana through the first 4+ and Carson Marsh through the last 2 has pitched, they have enough. And this one skied in the shallow left. Coming on is Kemper Murray. He gets it, and the throw, actually, beg your pardon, it's Campbell who's out there and left. And there's the out. So we had mentioned that that Campbell had come in a few innings ago to pinch hit, and he stayed obviously in the ball game and left. And to reset the defense, it's Campbell in left, Rodriguez in center, McCann in right, Isaacs at third, Wags through the shortstop, Hensley at second, Rocky at first, Wayhoff catching Aaron England here for the 6th inning. Fastball downstairs, ball 1 to Christensen, who I believe, if I recall, he's going to Air Force Academy. And there, like I said, a bunch of kids going places. Max Tramontana, who we saw for 4 innings, going to Lafayette. Keelan Daniels going to Findlay. Toby Huber's a George Mason commit. This one's in the dirt. Sweat will stay at third. Ohio State very well represented here by this bunch. Nate Early, Clay Burdett, and C.J. Richard all committed to play in Columbus. Nate Manley is heading to my old stomping grounds, Wright State. Fastball catches to inside Black. So the get-over fastball got over 2-1. That's a lot of college talent on one team. A lot.
Well, like you said, assemble that much talent. It's no wonder that you end up in a place like this with a record of 28-2.
They've won 10 in a row. They had an unscheduled game that they played a couple days ago that they won 14-3. I believe it was against Reading. And the curveball got in the dirt. Sweat will stay put at third. It didn't get away from Wayhoff far enough.
Man, they keep begging Sweat to try. And you know what? I think he wants it.
Well, this takes me back to 2 weeks ago, payoff. And it's a high fly ball in the left field. Campbell on to catch it. Sweat will tag up. Here's the throw to the plate, and he is out. No, the ball gets away, and Sweat is safe. It was in the glove of Wayhoff. It squirted away. Sweat is in safely, 5-0.
Well, you thought for a second there Wayhoff was going to have it. Just couldn't hang on in the end. He got bulldozed by Sweat. He's looking over, thinking the Fairfield bench as if to say, how can that be legal?
Number 3, Keelan Daniel.
So an unearned run here in this frame. As Schmidt got a base hit, he was replaced by Sweat, who would reach second and third on subsequent throwing errors by the pitcher, and he rides home on a sac fly to left. And it was a great throw by Campbell. They were there plenty of the time, but it squirted out of the glove of Wayhoff. Over to first. Rocky will take it to the bag himself. Moeller has 3 more outs to get to a regional final. We'll see if they do it when we return here on Chatterbox Live. We go to the 7th. Moeller is trying to put the proverbial cherry on top of the sundae, up 5-0 as they pushed across yet another run in their home 6th inning. And it's Carson Marsh to go complete this. And this will set up an interesting situation for tomorrow, because while a 5-run comeback to tie is not unheard of, it's also unlikely. So if you're Tim Held, you're starting to think a little bit about tomorrow, about Toby Huber, about hoping that he can go the distance. And again, and hopefully you think about what kind of offense, or the lack thereof, the winner of our nightcap here at this regional will have. Because while every team here in this regional has thrown shutout baseball, not all the teams have put up runs. I think it's the best way I think I could put it.
Yeah. You've got another 3 outs to get here if you're Carson Marsh. You've been working with high efficiency today.
Brady Black is the pinch hitter as he takes ball 1. Carson Marsh might be our player of the game today. I mean, he came in the 5th in a bases-loaded situation and got out of there with nobody crossing the plate, and I think that really kind of shut the door. Foul back. Moeller pitching has thrown 90 pitches this afternoon. Marsh is trying to get 3 more outs. Black waits. He fouls it back again.
So what's still in play here if you're Moeller? Obviously you want to get out of here with the win. It looks like that will probably happen. However,
so Black is down on strikes, 1 away.
However, there's still a point of pride here. They allowed 1 run to Cole Rain in the opening game of this playoff. Since then, they have not allowed a run. 2 straight shutouts. They'd love to make it 3.
Marsh has struck out 3 since he's come in relief. Honestly, I can't wait to catch up with Tim Held after this ball game and just see what he says about his reliever today. And that one misses, ball 1. Ashton McCann, 0 for 1, a ground out, and a walk his last time up, and there's a strike. It's been a fantastic season for Fairfield, getting to this district final, their first since 2017. Popped up on the infield. The first baseman calls for it. Nate Early, 2 outs.
Well, it has been a great season for Fairfield. I mean, you look at it, started the season losing 4 straight. They were 2-5 at one point, 4-7. They just reeled off 14-4 record.
Strike, nothing in 1. Carson Marsh is feeling it down the stretch.
He really is. He's been dominant out there today.
High chop down the first baseline. Marsh grabs it, will take it to the bag himself. Moeller has a date with the regional final tomorrow afternoon. The final score this afternoon in shutout fashion. Moeller wins it 5-0. They've won their 11th in a row. They now improved to 29-2. Mercy.
Yeah, just an incredible performance. Start to finish by Moeller out there today. Tramontana came in. He didn't throw his best stuff, but he was effective through 4 innings of work. And when he got into a bit of a jam, he turned it over to his mate out of the pen. And Carson Marsh came in, filled it in. Meanwhile, the offense puts up 5 runs. 1 would have been enough as in hindsight, but tacked on the other 4 just for show. And they're advancing on to the regional final.
The win goes to Max Tramontana this afternoon. He moves and improves his record to 8-0. The save and a hard-earned one to Carson Marsh, who picks up save number 5. He pitched 3 scoreless innings in relief, striking out 3. The hard luck loser today to close out his year, Aaron England, deserved a little better fate today. He sees his season end at 4-3, his record, as Fairfield closes out the year at 18-12 here in the regional semifinals. 5 runs on 7 base hits, 1 error, and 3 left on for Moeller. for visiting Fairfield this afternoon. No runs on 3 hits, 2 errors, and 6 left on as Moeller moves on. Time for our play of the day, powered by Headline Sportswear. Partner, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you what your choice is.
Man, I've been thinking about it for the last couple of minutes, and there have been a lot of great plays made today. I'm gonna go with one. I've talked about it a few times today, but I'm gonna say that very first play by the catcher Nate Manley, throwing over to first to pick off that first base runner after Tramontana walked him. I know it's not going to seem like a turning point in the game, but it's one of those tone setters. And if Tramontana loads up runners on first and second, because he walked another batter right after that, if he loads up first and second, maybe that's the time that Fairfield breaks through. Maybe they get a little bit more confidence early if they see a run go on the board first. I think that's probably your play right there.
And that's our play of the game, powered by Headline Sportswear. For what it's worth, if I was to make a selection, I think it's Carson Marsh, who came in with the bases loaded in the 5th. He got an out through a strikeout, and then he got a comebacker that he got into his glove, threw over to first, a 1-3 double play to end the rally. So he wiggles out of a bases-loaded situation with a strikeout and a double play, and that would be my choice to end the 5th.
That's a really good one, and I think if I had a second vote, that's probably where I'd go. And following that line, how fitting is it that a guy who really, bailed everybody out in Carson Marsh comes and takes the final play himself, just snags it down the first base line, runs on to first, and he gets to end the ball game. I mean, that's just perfect.
Right place at the right time. That's I guess the best way I think I can put it. As we look ahead to tomorrow in a game that you and I won't be doing, partly because of the different people who are involved and where we are allocated or where we're not allocated, I want to ask this. Moeller, number 1 team in the state, moves on, and you know how good Fairfield had been down the stretch. They got a hard-fought win today. They'll have Toby Hurer likely going tomorrow against either Lebanon or Mason. You know that's going to be a hell of a game.
Oh, it certainly will be. I have no idea who's going to come out between Lebanon and Mason. If you had to make me choose, I'd say it's probably Mason, but man, it's going to be quite a contest. And if Mason does come out, either of their pitchers that could potentially go tomorrow, that's where I think Moeller really has an advantage, because even though they might take maybe a half a grade down in pitching, their offense is so incredible. Even today against Aaron England, I think that's where the difference is really made, and I would favor Moeller in tomorrow's game.
The number 1 team stays number 1 with a win today, 5-0. Partner, your final thoughts on this one?
Well, just like I said, start to finish, Moeller felt like they were in control for most of this game. Every time that Fairfield would mount some kind of comeback attempt, they got runners on first and second a couple of times, even managed to have 3 runners on at the same time, loaded up all bags and no outs, and still Moeller didn't panic. They showed their pedigree, and that's why they're moving on to the regional final.
Partner, it was fun. Can't wait to do it again, whether it's in the state finals. I know Reed has a game here and coming up here in a little bit, in about an hour or so. It'll be Baden and Buckeye Valley, but hope we can do this again here in the state final.
It's been great working with you, Geoff.
Again, the final here in this one, 5-0. 5 runs, 7 hits, 1 error, 3 left on for winning Moeller. They improved to 29-2. Fairfield ends their season at 18-12. No runs on 3 hits, 2 errors, 6 left on. The win to Max Tramontana, 8-0. Carson Marsh, his 5th save. Aaron England falls to 4-3. Well, we've had fun here in a game that took just about 2 hours to complete here in this one in Amelia. Again, the final 5-0 for Nathaniel Hipsley. I'm Geoff Kim. Good night from Amelia.